Okay, today we're going to cover On War by Karl von Clausewitz. Chapter 1, Branches of the Art of War. War in its literal meaning is fighting, for fighting alone is the efficient principle in the manifold activity, which in a wide sense is called war. But fighting is a trial of strength of the moral and physical forces by means of the latter. That the moral cannot be omitted is evident of itself. For the condition of the mind has always the most decisive influence on the forces employed in war. All right. Now, let's do term association. War, which is a grave matter of the state, Sun Tzu, an engagement of diametrically opposed forces, good versus evil. In its literal meaning, it is fighting. Psychology to physicality. For fighting alone is the efficient principle in the manifold activity, meaning engaging is the principle that will facilitate a situation where one will be successful over the other. So, the ultimate excellence of fighting is to fight without things going to the battlefield, without doing things on a physical level. This is what is taught by Sun Tzu in The Art of War. In a wide sense, this is called war, Clausewitz says. But fighting is a trial of strength of the moral and physical forces by means of the latter. So there is exertion, because war is a constant, it's cyclical in nature, it's the cycle of seasons, the yin and the yang, Sun Tzu. And it is also a grave matter of the state, Sun Tzu. So we know that because good is a constant and bad, evil is a constant, that they are both diametrically opposed, so they both will always be there. So there's an exertion to this. And on a case-specific, region-specific, and theater-specific sense, the exertion is exponentially increased. So this is war, and this is exertion facilitated by the same. Okay, that the moral cannot be omitted is evident of itself, for the condition of the mind has always the most decisive influence on the forces employed in war. Okay, so just war theory and the morality of the way must always be the premise on which a war is implemented or initiated, to be more specific. And it cannot be omitted because there will be no societal compliance without just war theory and the morality of the way, which is what you offer the enemy so that you will make it clear to his nation and his regional nations that you have tried to do what was in the best interest of the international community. So, the condition of the mind has always the most decisive influence on the forces employed in war. This is dispositions, and this is psychological. The necessity of fighting very soon led men to special inventions to turn the advantage in it in their own favor. In consequence of these, the mode of fighting has undergone great alterations, but in whatever way it is conducted, its conception remains unaltered, and fighting is that which constitutes war. So, there is a necessity to fighting because war is a grave concern of the state, Sun Tzu. Very soon, it led men to special inventions. This is innovation, understanding the cycle of the seasons, trends and anomalies, and the ultimate excellence in war. And those skilled warrior, spoken of by Sun Tzu, makes adjustments to anomalies, trends, and accumulations of the same that would hinder the ultimate goal of victory in war. Now, in consequence of these, the mode of fighting, the mode, pace, and method of the battle has undergone great alterations because of the cycle of the seasons and the yin and the yang. Okay, but in whatever way it is conducted in its conception, concepts, theories, principles, precepts, it remains unaltered. As a constant, war is unaltered. It is cyclical, but it is a constant. It will always be there because good will always have to oppose evil. And fighting is that which constitutes war. Meaning, diplomatically you must engage evil, but when it results in a physical battle or even a psychological battle of good versus evil, one nation versus another, or nations versus an assimilation of other nations, then this is what constitutes war. Someone has deviated from the way, the moral law, and a threat has been created by evil, because evil will always stoop to violence, where good will always just use defense as an offense. And this is force, not violence. It is a protective and corrective action, whereas violence is clearly aggression. Now, that is all we will cover at this point.